Destroyed this light cause decayed, darkness, pain. Bloodshed stained the flat way by weathered and decayed. Diseases spreading round the world, plaguing all mankind. Darkness surrounding me. Darkness, pain. The flat way by weathered and decayed.
World is doomed, everybody. It's motherfucking Mickey GemInEye, Vault of Doom podcast, episode 112. There's something I want to talk about today, and it's actually about my fucking original podcast established. When I established the fucking, I've gone over a few times the history of the show. I've gone over a few times the previous incarnations, but there's reason I want to talk about this thing again and over again. There's some reason that I want to talk about this thing. I don't know why. I have to look at other podcasts and see when they established theirs, and then say, "Oh, I want to talk about why I established mine." Something to go off of, maybe. Something to go off of after having already done the origins of the show. I like to look at how the world is fucking doomed, and the world is especially doomed in the world of podcasting. I'm looking at all these different podcasts that have literally lost all their appeal as far as like what is the point of any of it anymore. So I guess that's why I'm creating my own. I guess that's why I'm making my own. I like what I'm creating, so I'm hopefully going to be a safe haven amidst the world of podcasting being completely fucking doomed. And also, there's another thing too. There's this season being on the ass end of itself right now. I'm like, holy fucking shit! Like, what a fucking massive workload. And I'm like, technically on schedule with all my scheduled episodes that I have to record and put out, but this is still a fuck ton of work for one person to do. So, how am I realistically supposed to invite people onto the show then and have guests if that's the case? Well, first, this is what I would like to get into. Literally, you could just consider the whole half of the show just me babbling random shit as far as like whatever the fuck it is that I feel like chatting about. And then halfway through or towards the end of this episode, you can hear me speak a little bit on what the actual topic is about. But still, technically, there's just so many obvious points where I'm noticing things as I'm working on this today, in this year, in this era, in this day and age, in this phase on where this technology is in its cycle or whatever, or what have you, or whatever it is. And I cut myself shaving. And it's just massively different than it was 10 years ago. But this show was established more than 10 years ago. I'm running something and actively publishing something that was established in the year 2011. So this is a project. It's the same project basically, just different name. It's basically a project that's 14 years in running. And all the origins of the story and all the previous history of the show episodes that I've done in the past, where you can revert to season 4 for that. There in those episodes, you'll hear more about why those episodes go over more of why there are gaps in between stuff, as it's a show that's 14 years in running, but it has not only the different incarnations and the different versions of the show and all that stuff, different locations and everything. It goes over more of the gaps, and it fills in. Those episodes describe and fill in where all the other stuff went other than the show. But it just was, this thing is established in 2011. I'm still using the same kind of technology, YouTube. I'm still using a mobile device with a record button, with a video camera and a record button, and I'm pressing the record button and it's running my time elapsed time that I've been recording right up there, and then I'm adjusting filters and lighting adjustments and all those stuff. It's like, it feels like the same thing. It feels almost like the same exact thing as it did 14 years ago when I started it, and it's also still the same kind of antics. So that's what I want to get into a little bit on this episode, when I can manage to salvage something from all the sidetracking, because that's what I want to do this episode. I don't have anything written down, pre-written for this. I don't have any show notes or script written for this episode, so I'm just gonna kind of go off on other randomness, like what I was just saying about how much it's changed since then, because it's still YouTube, it's still the exact basic ass format, and it ain't gonna be changing anytime soon. It's just record, pause, snapshot, elapsed time, me. This is me. Here I am on the camera, here I am in the center of the camera, here's my backdrop and everything. I mean, this is like the same. It ain't gonna change very much. What's changing is I don't even know. I don't know so much about it, and could care so I could care so much less about it, about why it's changed so much, that I don't have the ability to be barred or banned or excluded from speaking on any of it. You can literally just write me off as some idiot babbling, because I don't know what I'm talking about, even though I've been doing this long. But luckily, the conspiracy theory episode's over with, and that's up. You can check that out and go conspiracy theory with it. I know a lot of people are probably into that, into listening to that, or into creating that, into what else can you do other than listen or create right now? Is there anybody not doing any of this stuff? Probably. That's an avenue I don't want to go down, but I will stick with where I was on how my interactions with this stuff is so crazy, changing so much. It's like literally, it just has to be a machine. It has to be a robot. If it's responding according to like how I'm uploading, if it's responding to how I create my content, if it's responding to all this basically useless stuff. It's basically useless. It's basically worthless. It doesn't have much worth aside from context, an agreeable context. I mean, we all know about cookies and third parties, how you can change that setting and put, I do not allow my data to be collected by third parties. But what about like that's third parties and your data and all that? That's a massive, important thing. But what about all this stuff that literally it's just rapidly changing so fast that it is only important to speak on it now before I have to be a yes man about it later, or later on be somebody who's like either in agreement of it or against it. I think literally if you're against it, you're just as bad as somebody who's all about it. I think I have no place among people who really feel any kind of way about it. I just think I still have to have a place in it. I still have to use it. I still have to get used by it. Whatever. Anyway, all the basic origins of the show are already handled, already reverted back to in season 4. So go check that out. This episode being about when it was established. I've titled this actually, what is the production? What is the production? What production am I referring to? I'm referring to the production aspect of it. That means it all kind of makes sense. It all kind of binds together. It makes perfect sense here when you say, I've been using this for this long. Now it is basically me recycling and reusing all the same stuff from almost a decade and a half ago. And now, except for that older one, can handle the bigger one. The older one can tackle and handle the bigger issues. I've delegated that power on there, and then whoever it is that's me being goofy on here and doing a lot of antics. I mean, I have to eventually, at some point in time, check in with myself and really see how I feel. I comment on my own stuff often. I make announcements often. I announce upcoming releases and upcoming episodes and upcoming seasons on here, but I need to do my own personal stuff too that I'm not going to share with anybody. So there's that, and having, just all that power being delegated from that long ago into production is why I have that page operating the way that it does. I'm the fucking creator of this thing. So, what always happens in here when there's money? When there's money involved in here, you get something like this, and then you get other people that come in, and then they fight, and then they feud, and then the problem is over money and all this other stuff. Well, I'm doing this without any of the money. So what does that mean? That means that come hell or high water, the truth needs to come out. People need to know about it. Someone needs to know about it. It needs to have its rightful place in whatever it belongs in. But I realize how I sound when I'm saying the production. I realize how unwilling that I am to actually speak the name of the production, as is always the case. That this episode of the show is about that portion of what one of my creations and one of the things that I create, that it's the production aspect that was established in 2011 that I'm referring to, speaking on what that's about. I already did an episode about that too. So what am I talking about here exactly? And the answer is very simple. I don't know. I kind of stepped into this not really knowing. I don't really know. Truth be told, I don't fucking know. I really don't quite know. I guess there was something else I wanted to know about it or learn about it from talking on it, even though it's my own creation or something like that. I don't know. Is it helping or hurting me? That's where the question would come in. Maybe that's why I'm here at this point, just so I can constantly nitpick and kind of go here and just say, like, well, let me see what else I can dig up on myself, and then that's what it is. That's what the question is? If there's a question here, then that's what it is. Is this hurting or helping me? I think that's another thing too. Is I'm probably stepping into this not really thinking of a lot of that as well, with quite a lot of thinking, quite a lot of thought about it. Honestly, it's like a lot of thought to think about. Why it requires a lot of energy to think about. For, well, is this hurting or helping me? And I think it is helping me actually, but as usual, it's just another, like, I swear to fucking God, I look at this whole fucking beginning of the whole fucking thing as just like, literally, I'm not gonna actually be coming forward and like putting out episodes that I think are worthy completely and totally, and being of a professional enough quality that are worth money, that are worth people's money, giving people a run for their money, where they want to pay me to watch the stuff the same way that you would pay all this. I don't know. I'm getting off track, as I have done plenty of episodes on each thing. If there's something that could sidetrack you, I've done an episode on it. So, I mean, does that defeat the purpose? Maybe that aspect is hurting me. Maybe that that maybe, I don't know. This seems like a therapist session at this point. I mean, there's plenty. One more sidetrack before I finish up sidetracking here. There's lots of people that I think would benefit from, and this is on a serious note, as are most of the things that I say. I'm being serious. I'm not actually joking around. I think most people benefit from those therapists that like BetterHelp stuff. But anyway, that's enough of the sidetrack. I guess that was going nowhere. I don't know. But anyway, here is where I'm gonna try to get into why this is. I think that's maybe what it is. I think I must be still questioning like why this is what it is or something. It is Lion's Den Productions. It is spelled L-Y capital letters, E-N-S lowercase letters. It's actually all capital except for the S. It is Lion's Den Productions. It is all capital letters, L-Y-E-N, lowercase s. Don't want it to get confused. I want the capital to have its own space and be the dominant force. I want all four capital letters to gang up on the one small lowercase letter. Maybe that's what the fucking use this has, because the way that it's spelled is like I spell this all the time. Technically, I'm just sitting there on my phone spelling this like it has to be spelled like that. Why is it spelled like this? What is the point of uppercase and lowercase letters? Is there really actually no point? Is everything ambiguous and ambivalent? I don't fucking think so. I think that not only does the shit have meaning, but it has meaning the way that I'm using it, and that, oh, I see where I was going with that all this time. It's the capitalistic nature of society ganging up against the one small guy, as usual. Whereas philosophically, there are far more many in number, the lowercase, smaller people, the proletariats, everybody that's middle class. There are far more many of those. Am I going to go somewhere revolutionary with that? Is everybody going to wait to find out until the next installment? I don't think so. I think the battle's happening right here. I think the battle's happening right now. So whoever it is that needs to be worried about it, you can be worried about having another unannounced conspiracy theory episode come at random when the next episode of conspiracy theory shit's come out. In the meantime, I'm not politically well versed, and I'm not going to be either. In the meantime, I can always have my right-hand man somewhere out there, my guardian angel, working on all of his political stuff, and I'm doing like random shite on my style and on my time. And when there's time, and if there's time, it is both. It's when there's time, because there always will be, and it's if there's time, because if I could just have the attitude stop having a shitty attitude towards it, stop saying if there's time or anything like that. But if and when there's time anyway, I'm saying it anyway, if and when there's time, episodes about actual music, or episodes actually interviewing actual musicians. Whoa. Anyway, that's the fucking spelling. That's how it's spelled. Spelled. I don't know which way it's correctly is proper way. Spelt seems good probably under certain context. I mean, that's where you get to be joking around. Like capital, I'm making a point, and then I'm like trying to go further on like spelt or spelled. It's like, let the deep thinkers do the thinking, or leave that to the philosophers, or whatever. But don't talk like that. And so, whatever, if that's the case, what I'm going with this, and whatever, if I have to, it has to come out of its shell in this way, or whatever, whatever. Literally, let me just get back on point here. Okay, it's spelled that way because it's two words combined together. There's one word, lyrical, and then there's another word, enlightenment, and they are combined together. It's so as to create without getting too distracted and coming back to earth, coming back down to earth, and coming back to reality. It's about being enlightened through the lyrics, the mission. I mean, I literally have to go through this even before I can write down the actual mission. So if there's ever any announcement that I've ever done that was ever important at all, it's this one right here that I'm announcing, that I'm going to have to announce it right here. I'm announcing the goal and mission of the production company as finding enlightenment or salvation through lyricism or lyrics and spellcraft and rich craft and traditional folk traditions. That is what I put in there. That is what I put in the productions that I make. Amidst all the haste and chaos and goofing around, what I put in there is folk traditions, ancient ancestral foundations. And so the fucking establishment of it, the history of it, the origins of it, the meaning of it, the announcement, with all of it being technically taken care of here and wrapped up in this very concise, short episode, I'm losing my desire to goof around, and it's making me want to fucking actually just call it quits for today, guys. So let me see if there's anything else that I missed. Yeah, it's really difficult for me to get into some of the stuff where I get finicky. As I just described, that it's, although it's interesting to me, even, like, it's kind of actually worthless. I can't really use much of it. Where I start saying things like the mechanics of it, like all the physics of it. When I start going into all that, it's still there nonetheless. I still have to check in on it from time to time. I still have to be able to see if my comprehension of it does or doesn't outweigh my interest in the whole thing. Because this is not only difficult for one person to do, it's more difficult for one person to do, or less difficult. It's very much debatable. If I were to put on some kind of fake facade or some fake persona, or act like I'm more than one person, or do anything like that. I mean, you could start being grateful right now, because it's very frustrating to do this way, but you could start being grateful right now, basically, because there's just going to be no other way for me to fucking do this. I mean, it's had so much momentum behind it. This is how simple I've made it for myself. I made it very simple for myself, in that I refer to it as the parent. The production is above it all, oversees it all, and then in the production, amidst all the projects and little specific details, all details aside, it's the projects making the little projects that I have to worry about. And I'm just saying, as of right now, usually as long as I check in with it, or can check in with it, I would consider it enough for me to move with. I can move with it. So, look, let's do some self-promo here. I'm doing some self-promo on the announcement here real quick here, in the middle of this here chaos I'm describing. I'm going to begin starting editing of the sequel of a sequel. I'll just leave it at that. Of a sequel. I'm beginning editing of a sequel. Guys, gals, babies, infants that are still in the womb, what have you. The announcement goes to everybody. The Truman Show! The Truman Show! Woo! Alright, so anyway, now that that's out of the way, literally, I fucking think that it's important to announce when it was established, because one of the antics, that's what I wanted to get to, one of the antics that's remained the same the whole time is I'll just invite any old person on my show. I don't fucking care. I will make it entertaining. And not only that, if I have to, I'll do all the fucking editing myself. I'll do all the shit myself if I have to. it's just a hell of a lot better than anything that most people are putting out, any of the mainstream. And so, here's a little update on you. I give you the announcement, the content, the actual guts and essence of the show. Here's a little update for you. I'm starting to actually consciously seek out other people that do stuff like this now too, so that I can support them. Is it a difficult road? Yes, absolutely. It's difficult. It's not difficult to find other people doing it in this like this, all this very underground style, but it all the stuff you encounter in the process of that is very difficult. Otherwise, it wouldn't be underground. Otherwise, it wouldn't be that way. That's just the premise dictates precision, as I say, or that's where I'll leave it. So, actual self promo. Go check out my latest release while I'm cooking up in the studio some new shit for your asses. As usual, I want it to be fucking decent. So, I'm not just gonna fucking whip something in shape and throw it out like until it's ready or something like that. So, maybe you could expect some deadlines at some point, you know, or have like actual deadline. I mean, I was busy recently a lot with the anniversaries. Otherwise, I would have had deadlines. So if I have deadlines, it's putting a lot of pressure on me, but I'll try to make those. If I put the deadline out, I will definitely, you can rest assured, I'll try to make the deadline. I'm not just saying it, I'm not just putting it out there just to have it, just to say it. It's a nice thing to have, a deadline. It makes me feel more professional or something. It's like actual, it's actually contributes to the overall quality. And I've already reserved that it's going to be, in my mind, that it's going to be extremely difficult to get the support that I need for putting out this kind of content. Is this is like fully loaded, fully chock full of fucking useful shit for a lot of people. A lot of people consider it difficult probably to make it through all the swarm of cookies, third parties, or whatever it is that's siphoning all the fucking support that I require for this. But as usual, I guess I've made it through a lot of extremely, like basically what are considered like humanly impossible things to make it through. I can't see this as just being anything different. This will just be another humanly impossible feat that I've overcome. And at the end of it, I have what people should have if they've been doing it for this long and they're this consistent and this quality. I've got the momentum, I've got the drive, I've got the consistency, and I've got the quality, and no support at all whatsoever at this point, as of now. However, looking at whatever it is that makes that major shift overnight, that turns it into something. I mean, that will be something I won't be able to announce, I guess. I guess I won't be able to announce that. You know, I'll just be able to enjoy the fruits of it and continue going on and continue making good quality content for you. Because what I just provided for you was basically business strategies and tactical strategies for your content as content creating, YouTubing, and influencing and making online content is a business. So I'm sourcing who knows how many fucking other people that can just pick here what they want here and just take another piece of me and then fucking come and take another piece over there and then come over here and take another piece over there. I don't know, but this patience is a virtue, they say, I guess, or something. I don't know. I don't think it's patience that I'm really relying on. I think it's more just like absolute battle mentality or something like that. Maybe that's not what it is. Maybe the revolution isn't being televised right now. I don't know. Screaming without a sound. I'm getting a little off track. I'm dabbling a little bit off of my digression. I've got to stick with basically point I'm trying to make, what I was trying to get at with inviting random people on the show and everything. I mean, that's how this started. Is just like I had a video camera and I had some friends and I had some, basically like goofy stuff, but not really though. More like dangerous stuff, but not really though. I don't know exactly, but something entertaining, and it was musical talent. Random strangers on the show displaying their musical talent, and that thus the show was born. And then it just other stuff. I mean, you gotta understand, like I said, that how much things have changed in 10 to 15 years. It's, I guess, what I was trying to get to, build up to the whole time, and what I was trying to get to is, it used to be really simple to just say, I'm going to put out something provocative, something extravagant, and then people are going. However, I'm still doing that though. That's the problem. Like, technically now you need to focus on demographics, statistics, and data analytics. But I'm still doing that now though. I'm still not caring very much about the thinking part aspect of it. I'm just putting this shit out because it's entertaining and extravagant. But it used to be very simple. I'm going to make a video of me naked covering my thing, and I'm going to display my musical talent. And it didn't take very long at all. I would have no time frame of when it was that I'm checking, but it would be like, let's say, at random a month. I waited. Let's say I uploaded a video of me naked and my thing being covered, and I'm displaying my musical talent. 1 month later, I go and check on it. Nonetheless, however long it was when I checked on it, videos like that had 5,000 plus views. 5,000 plus views, comments, likes, dislikes, haters, engagement, all that. Now the shit that I'm putting out is still extravagant, but I don't have none of that. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on with how much it has to change? And I'm trying as best I can to entertain the idea that I'll be patient enough to rationalize. But no, fuck no, I will not rationalize. There's no fucking excuse for it. If you put something out entertaining and extravagant, it should be popular. Period. Bottom line. But back then, this wasn't a business back then. This was just, you would make money, and plenty of it, off of monetizing with advertisements. Now, you make money, and plenty of it, with monetizing and advertisements, plus your tip jar, your buy me a coffee link, and whatever merch that you've gone through the process of actually engaging in real life social contact to build connections and network, to have merchandise available for people, stuff people can buy and have shipped to their door. And it's just really not all that confusing. It's really not all that complex. I mean, people just want to go into the details about a specific topic or something like that. And luckily, I always balance your consumption with output as a constant reference point on here on this. Basically, I guess it's considered a skill building content that I'm making, where if you're doing the same thing as me, or if you're doing things under subjects and topics that I'm discussing, it's skill building. And why am I skill building other than I'm experienced? I probably don't even fucking have an answer for that. And I would have to say, you know what? Come to think of it, one of these seasons, as is expected, it's just totally expected and anticipated. Be it 2 seasons from now or 3 seasons from now, however many seasons from now, I'm just gonna drop the whole fucking skill building spiel and get straight to nothing but the music, and then have all this behind, except it'll be there. It'll be there for everybody. It'll be there for me. as well. Or if I need some help or assistance with this kind of shit, I can reference back to my previous videos and say, oh yeah, oh, there's a good idea, and I need to use that idea and overcome some kind of issue I'm having, some kind of business dilemma, business issue that I'm experiencing. I'll reference back to something that I said on here. I've got to say, those changes, being as frustrating as they are, me describing them, that's literally all I was trying to get at. That's really literally all I was trying to say. It's just like, it's not only difficult to do things the same way that they were 15 years ago, it's just as difficult to even try to begin talking about it. So, small wonder why I'm going to drop the whole skill building spiel and get straight to the music here, what the show is actually about. At some point, hang in there with me. Luckily, I am totally grateful and thankful for the support that I have so far. You guys just gotta hear this. I just got a new subscriber on my personal page the other day. So that's good. I got a new subscriber. There's plenty of subscribers on here, and the production channel isn't much active. Literally, the production channel right now, thankfully, double thankfully, is just literally an archive. All previous. This is the Vault of Doom podcast, and I am Mickey GemInEye. Previous to the Vault of Doom podcast, it was Lion's Den podcast. At that time, I was just Mickey. And some of those episodes that have been saved from there, I wanted to save so much on there so badly that I was even thinking about like trying to dig up more from there. I mean, you put the stuff out there, and the stuff wants to be dug into. I mean, things are out there, things are here for people to source from if you need to. Am I sourcing this episode of the show from someone else saying when their podcast was established? I don't know, but I think that as much as it's okay for me with as much as I've done origins of the show episodes. As much as I've done origins of the show, it's okay for me. I might be trying to get at something, and what am I trying to get at? I think that it's that momentum thing, and then I think it's that, as I said, I'm going back to this for the third or fourth time. I think it's how much shit has changed. That, without sounding like I'm complaining, that it has changed so much. It makes no sense. And ultimately, all I'm ending up doing about it is just rationalizing to myself as to why that is. It sucks. It just ends up sucking. At some point, I'm going to have to complain. I mean, I could complain here, or I could complain in a bar room without knowing who's got their fucking little journalist dream or something, and then they want to, or I mean, because my shit's fucking wacky, my shit's out of line. I've been created this way. I've been genetically modified in some kind of fucked up laboratory that I have to make my shit so wacky and fucked up and zany that I can never be trusted doing anything. I can't be trusted with nothing. So, what am I supposed to think about everybody else then? I don't know, but I gotta calm down. I gotta relax a little bit. Anyway, it's still me inviting random people on. It's still me doing pretty much sensational acts and sensational things. There's exercise on here. There's just like all kinds of different stuff. Strategies. I think before it was just like I was a lot younger too. I mean, see, I'll do all this time thinking about this thing being younger. I didn't reference to me being younger. So me being younger, I'm still kind of the same young guy doing the same young guy stuff, but I have to I have to pretty much say that it's not as crazy, I guess. It's not as crazy or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's my creations. I'm in charge of it. I'm in charge of my creation. What happens to it? I think one of the things I wanted to reference to was one of those things about money, and then bringing money into it and bringing other people into it, like bands that split up and all that stuff. I mean, that's a doomy and gloomy theme to think about, that having something like this plus partners, co-hosts, etc., and then having money in it, and how that can totally get in the way of it. But then what about the vice versa? I mean, with this being established this long ago, this is a great thing to discuss. What about vice versa? There's no one else but me working on this. There's no money coming in specifically because of this. And then it basically just drives you crazy. It basically just suffocates you and prevents you. It gives you bubble boy syndrome, where you have like bubble boy syndrome. You know, Bubble Boy, the 1990s film, where the guy is like so protected from his mom's love that he couldn't do anything at all, basically. I mean, or Misery, or maybe even it's like Bubble Boy plus Misery, that Stephen King novel where the chick is like, "I love you," and she like breaks his ankles. She like chains him to the bed and then breaks his ankles and prevents him from going anywhere. She's so obsessed with him. He's an author, and she's an obsessed fan. Obsessivism. I don't know. Acknowledgement of something of this sort needs to happen at some point for sure, but confirmation later. Maybe during the revolution will not be televised swarm that this thing seems to be chock full of. So I don't know. Maybe that makes things more difficult on everybody. Maybe that makes things more difficult on me. Maybe it makes things more difficult on everybody. I don't know. It's everybody versus me, back against the wall as usual. Anyhow, it's still something that I sharing my thoughts on this. I mean, social media, posting stuff, is asking you to share your thoughts. There's virtually no clue that I have as to why mine seems to be malfunctioning, aside from this obsessive misery bubble boy thing situation. But mine just seems to be malfunctioning. I'm posting shit, nobody's saying a goddamn fucking thing about anything. It's like, okay, so what am I supposed to do about it? I mean, sure, I'm being affected, but what the fuck am I supposed to do about it? I mean, I'm not fucking doing anything that I don't want to fucking do, basically. I mean, it's not necessarily the same as I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. It's I'm not doing anything I don't want to do. At least that's who I am. Who's everybody else? You know, I'm not going to know who you are through my phone. I'm not going to know who you are through I can't be trusted with a goddamn thing treatment. I mean, something's got to fucking give eventually. And I mean, if you may be shaking the spider's web from talking about it, then at least that's a hell of a lot better than just laying down and dying. I'm very fortunate, however, to constantly keep an eye on my self-rationalizing bullshit. And I think that about wraps it up. So my closing statements would certainly be on like sharing my thoughts on what I think about other podcasts. I think it's just the podcast world is fucking doomed, man. People are making stuff. They're making a living, earning a living on it. There's plenty of people who have like a whole livelihood on it. It's like the thoughts that I have about it would probably all be in the same category as it's all completely insufferable. It's just like reaching a certain point of how this stuff affects you, how this stuff affects your mental health, and how it affects your physical behavior is very real. Being mindful of being conscious of it is helpful with trying to do something about it, or as you know, as I'm not, it's not going to be put out in a PowerPoint presentation format for you from me. PowerPoint presentations have their place. You can go and revert to those if need be. I'll even make the necessary edits and have the fucking realm and domain where you want that kind of content to be easily findable for you. I mean, my shit is not only. I'm getting off track. Every time I drink it, it's like the drinking game. Like every time you're watching a movie, every time you hear somebody say Satan, then you take a drink of beer. Every time I'm getting sidetracked, I'm gonna take a drink of coffee. Like there's lots of people making this stuff, right? Is there underground stuff? That's not sidetracked, but it's still distracting me. So, like, I'm trying to close this thing up. I'm trying to close this thing up in my own way here. My own little special way here. Having like the stuff like affect the solutions out there. Still another thing that's like not distracting but just bothering me. Sharing thoughts. I'm sharing my thoughts on watching other people's podcasts. How about that? How does that sound? I'm watching other people's podcasts and I'm sharing my thoughts on it. And then, as I've announced or updated you on, given you an update on, I'm now consciously seeking out other underground people. It's difficult to find. Difficult to find other underground people. I already have been and previously was seeking out other underground people. But now I'm making it a point to where I have to. I just realized my sideburns need to be realigned. I'm gonna do a lining after this. Anyway, I have to find the underground people, and then just like basically try to see what I can do with that or after that. Basically, I guess that's what it is, because I'm very much like, I guess, in the same way as the opposite of rationalizing is, or one of the dangers of irrationalizing is that now I'm more in danger of being swallowed up, of being naive, of having and developing a naivete, and having myself be swallowed up by larger entities, larger podcasts, or something like that. So then, what is my conscious seeking doing? And as usual, the show has philosophical connotations. So if you are into that kind of heavy thinking, hit the subscribe button right now. Hit the subscribe button right. Hold on, we're gonna do this together. Right now. Oh, I missed it. I missed the button. Now. All right. Hit the sub button, and then hit the bell too. Now. Oh, way off camera. My arm wasn't even on camera at all. There. And then hit the bell. And be notified for future episodes. I mean, so what am I supporting? What is an indie guy doing supporting other indie guys? I mean, it's just like, that's a meeting of minds. That's a thing that naturally happens. I have no position to speak on that. I don't have any position to speak on that at all. And that's where I would say that's what my conscious activity is doing, trying to seek out these underground artists. I mean, the premise is already underground, so that should be very easy for me. So then what is any on topic discussion amount to when nobody's saying a goddamn fucking word? Like, I'm doing on topic discussions and then nobody's saying a fucking thing. I mean, I could say, as as a reference point as well, that going all the way back to 14 years ago, starting doing this that long ago, with advertisements on my show, and then having, and this is me doing this. This is me required to do this. That the comments and all the data and analytics or whatever, just the whole thing in general, this whole rectangle, this whole fucking thing is like, look, I'm just a star. I'm just a talent. I'm just the main character in this thing. I shouldn't have to do fucking too much. And that is how it's always fucking been, and that's how it will always fucking be. That with that, the details aren't even important. So get back on topic of what I'm saying. Let's say I'm seeing people who have done not as long, where I'm established since 2011. Most people are established since 2013, 2017. There's a podcast that I listened to that was established to 2017. You know, there's just something about the whole thing, about the fucking, details, shit that fucking fuck everything up, and like I'm not concerned with it. And then there's something about having to always constantly go in and dive into the origins or history or talk about all this stuff that I need a nugget. I need like a treasure from a treasure hunt to fucking come back with, to say, like, here's where I went. I went into when the show was established. Here's what I came back with. I went into when the show was established, and I saw when other people's are established, and I'm just instantly saying, like, my only mine is more important, or something like that, or like, maybe I won't get as many details from everybody else as I'll get from my own stuff, or maybe it's just the actual act of being there. It's just like the present moment, being in the present moment, or being in the now, or whatever that means. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but let's say what I came back with was that the show is still the same, and the way that the show is still the same, and the show is still on YouTube, and everything else still looks the same, and that YouTube has changed. YouTube now has more work for me to do. And it already was a lot of work to basically just to pursue something that came natural to you, or chase some kind of dream, or whatever your personal thing is. That's where you would come into the comments and say, I'm a YouTuber, and I started YouTubing in 2015 to make cooking videos, or to make videos about woodworking, or to make videos about deer hunting, and I think that the YouTube interface has changed a lot. I mean, this is also a little bit of foreshadowing of what you can expect all next season, is I'm going to be getting it out of the way as an announcement. I'm going to announce that too. All next season, we're going to work on user interface. Go figure, it's still going to be a little bit longer before we actually get to the... However, this thing changing has to be commented on by, it's sort of like a requirement. If you're using this, if you're just the talent, or if you're just the main character, or whatever it is, these things need to be commented on, acknowledged, and gotten out of the fucking way. I need to basically treating the whole fucking show like this, and it's like, dude, it's really doing a number on my on my episode quality. Like, it's really doing a fucking number on me, man. Like, there's plenty of people actually living their real lives and living their daily lives, and they're doing the same exact fucking thing I'm doing, except they can fucking whatever story of my life bullshit, whatever the fuck ever, blah blah blah, blue 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 blue, whatever. It's just, yeah, it's like, is it more difficult? I mean, is there an infinite amount of number of things that you could possibly say about AI? I mean, that's one of the points that I didn't want to go over. I did not want to skip over. Is that however much of this is AI, that's the part that goes on forever. All that other stuff has a simple acknowledgement and then a moving on. But speaking on the actual like AI aspect of it, on how the actual quality, essence, and content put out, and words that I'm using in the description, etc., directly, and how I interact with the interface directly affects how my machine will respond. This is a machine. It will respond according to how I'm putting out. And back in the day, you could just say the universe responds to all this stuff. Whatever. Fucking same thing. Whatever. There's for good reason why music does the rest of the work. I mean, that's a lot of work. I got that out of the way, but there's for good reason why the music does the rest of it. Anyhow, I guess once I reach there, that's where I'm cut off. I'm cut off. I have to keep tying it up and closing off here. I have to keep tying up this episode here, closing off, without leaving it fucking hanging and all fucking looking like some kid fucking been in your kitchen and leaves a big ass mess behind or something. Because I'm not a kid. I'm a fucking grown ass adult man, and I fucking do this. I do this. And so, let's say, sharing my thoughts on here, sharing my thoughts on my malfunctions. You know, that's where the malfunction goes on forever, too. I mean, speaking of going on forever, that's another thing that goes on forever. I mean, sharing my thoughts on here, that's what I'm doing right now. Sharing my thoughts on social media, on a post, and then having some sort of malfunction there. Any malfunction. The malfunction of this malfunction. What about another malfunction? Here's another malfunction. How about I'll share my thoughts on the malfunction? How about I'll balance that and kind of spin it like a basketball on my finger. And then I'll say, you know, I'm not going to comment on the malfunction or something like this, because these malfunctions, these should have solutions. Certain malfunctions, that's why enemy number one for me is the rationalizing, for sure, because these malfunctions should have solutions, and if they don't have solutions, the solutions should be sought after. And having that mentality distract me and deter me away and veer me off of the path and distract what I was already doing, as initially a frustration, then a problem, then a serious problem. Is there anything that comes after serious problems? I mean, this is livelihood. I say this, I've said this once, I'll say this twice. This is a livelihood. People can make a living off this. They can pay rent with this. They can help other people share. This can help other people share their thoughts and their ideas on things. They can, have literally a rent-free room to live in exchange for broadcasting somebody's thing or something like that, and there's no way to put that out there, and there isn't any need to either. That's the meanwhile on the other side of the world. This is still right here, always right fucking here, still stuck right fucking here, still here. to there's no way to there needs to be something that can be done about when I need to contact a developer or have some kind of problem that they can get back to me, or if I have some mistake. When there is a mistake, you need to get back to it. This is literally under the context and under the confines of creating an online content, of literally the context of one simple word: internet. The internet. And then, if you have any more problems outside of that, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's a whole bunch of other ways this is gonna go. But right now, I'm still on the episode. Not only am I still here with everything else happening out on the other side, meanwhile on the other side of the town or the planet, whichever one, same thing. Over here, basically not having fucking any fucking other episode other than this episode. I mean, like, all the fucking goofing around that I do, and all the fucking craziness that I'm making, I'm still not gonna take this episode. And it's because I don't want to. Like I said, it's not the same as I do whatever the fuck I want. I don't do anything I don't want to do. Not the same. But I don't want to. So I'm not going to cut off a chunk and a piece of this episode and then slap it and throw it onto one of my fucking chaotic, schizophrenic, psychotic, psychosis, fucking can't even understand any of it, getting a headache from looking at it or even just thinking about it kind of thing. I don't fucking know. Nobody's even sharing anything in their comments on here with something to do with me not being able to share any of my posts, or something to do with me not being able to solve any problems even after contacting developers. Like, these two things are supposed to be the same. Who better to figure it out than a guy who doesn't do anything he doesn't want to? And I said this also. This was established in 2011, and I said this way back then. I said this same exact fucking thing in my rants and ravings. You already have the origins of the story and the origins of the show, just not in this episode. And I always said the same thing. It's just like, oh, he's a strong power. He's a strong guy, strong and supple. He can handle everything. Just go ahead and throw everything on him. Point made. And I'm getting kind of cramped up and stuffy in here. It's kind of stuffy being on the internet already, and it's kind of crampy and stuffy being on this episode. So I'll fucking finish completing and tying by just saying the podcast world is doomed. Right now, the fucking music world is doomed because I need to get through these fucking these are some chunky, meaty episodes I gotta get through before I can get back to something talking about music. And that's fine too. That's all fine and well, because you can go and check out some of the new music stuff on my personal page. My personal channel has plenty of stuff to keep you busy while I'm working out this show thing. You can go learn music theory on my official Mickey GemInEye YouTube channel. There's some music theory stuff on there. There's some new finger exercises up there. Is there any new finger? Well, if there's not any new finger exercises up there, there's some music theory episodes. There should be some stuff on the way, but as I said, I'm kind of tied up here with wrapping up this stuff, getting through this stuff. So hanging with me this long, I fucking appreciate it. Maybe that's enough support in and of itself. Maybe I don't need any of the actual support on the internet. That's correct. Anyway, and here on this episode, when the established thing goes through the podcast world is doomed. The podcast world is doomed. It's mainstream episodes or mainstream shows, mainstream episodes. They have like virtually no way for me to reach it. I don't know. I don't know. It just has this quality about it that it just seems like I could see why maybe possibly most people would want to stay away from it, but it has so many fucking views. You know, these are mainstream underground. I mean, this is the place to speak on it here. It's just that it's an underground premise, but it's mainstream and has a lot of thousands of views. And now I'm already fucking done talking about it. I don't feel like fucking talking about it. So let me wrap up and let me finish. I think if I get an idea or draw any idea from any kind of sources at all, and then need to go through this much trouble to fucking either speak on it or not speak about it, I would feel like I might as well not even fucking watch any mainstreams or watch anybody else's podcast. I might as well just fucking hermetically seal myself in a little safe cocoon and then contribute to Bubble Boy syndrome some more. I don't know, guys, but either way, nonetheless, either way you fucking slice it, the world is doomed. I'm out.